DaVinci. What is it and who is it for? Welcome, Brandon Baldovin. I'm going to ask you some questions. First of all,
Okay.
what is actually DaVinci Resolve? What does it do exactly?
Ooh, everything. Everything. It'll file your taxes. It will send out your resumes. No, so DaVinci Resolve is technically it's an NLE. So it's a non-linear editing tool. It's a very fancy word for just saying it puts together videos. And the best part of DaVinci compared to most of its competitors. So we're, like CapCut, the Adobe suite, instead of splitting and kind of segmenting up the different parts of the post-production process, it just packages it all together into one tool. So it's what I've used to edit for years, and it's obviously my favorite editing tool.
So no Premiere Pro, After Effects, Sound, what's the one? And
Audition.
Media Coder, that's the one. Is it kind of all together? Color grade as well? I think they've finished that in Adobe. All together in one.
Yeah,
Damn it.
yeah, it's all
How,
together in one. So sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Uh, how does it compare to, say, Premiere Pro? Because that's the one that we teach you bring your own laptop. That's my baby. How, if you use Premiere Pro, how do you think it compares? Like,
So I'm going to give you a very biased answer in
okay,
that I think that it is a better editing tool. I think the I think the thing that's important to note about DaVinci Resolve versus Premiere or DaVinci Resolve versus After Effects is that they are analogous. There's not, one part of it that's leaps and bounds better than the other. I think you can make arguments for both software suites. Obviously, I'm pretty biased over here in DaVinci land, but if you wanted to make that comparison, you can.
gotcha. So it's better in your opinion, but not crazy different.
Well, it is different in the way you approach certain things. So because all of the pages are linked together, it's hard to make a DaVinci versus Premiere comparison or a DaVinci versus After Effects comparison because you know when you're working in Adobe, and this is my personal opinion on it, you kind of have to make a choice on where you start. So if you're gonna start a project, you have to decide: do I start in After Effects or do I start in Premiere? And in DaVinci Resolve, you don't have to make that decision. You just open up the software and get going. Is there certain tools that one has that the other? No. I, there might be some plugins here and there, or there might be a button here or there, but in terms of like fundamental editing tools, no, there's not
Because
a major difference.
one of the hard things for, like, I teach Premiere Pro and After Effects and Audition, there are different tools. They're not the same thing. Is there, when you switch between them in DaVinci, are they very different still, or is it easier flow?
That is a really good question. So to I'll take a step back and say that originally DaVinci Resolve was actually just a color grading tool. So when you worked on a major motion picture, at the end of the day, you go send it to somebody who knew how to use DaVinci. And then over the years, they've kind of piecemealed things together and really made them symbiotic. So there are some differences in terms of where to look for certain buttons, but the overall workflow when transferring between the edit page or the fusion page or the color page or Fairlight is their audio page, it makes sense. Everything's connected. It might look a little different page to page, especially if you're going to fusion, but for the most part, yeah, the skills and tools kind of transfer between the pages.
Cool. And Bring a Laptop is kind of centered around design. Is Resolve, like, sorry, DaVinci kind of a tool that designers could use, or is it kind of more Hollywood only?
Yeah, so I think this is where there's at least from my experience, there's a little bit of negative stereotyping when it comes to fusion in the design space, mostly in terms of motion graphics. Are you going to be designing posters in DaVinci Resolve? Probably not. It's not designed to build still images, but when it comes to developing motion graphics for either commercial work, personal work, yeah, Fusion is incredible. It has a whole suite of tools specifically for shape design, and it's it's a compositor, so it's meant to combine things together and make them look good. So if you're a motion designer, yes, Fusion is totally a feasible option.
Cool, because that's one of the things. Like as a designer, it used to be you were a graphic designer only. You know, you needed it with print. Then it was digital. Now there's the expectation of doing it all, including video, shorts, YouTube. There's lots of other things that you end up touching on. So it's good to know it's for our people as well. One thing though is that nodes. Nodes is the one thing that I've always heard. It's always like DaVinci, Premiere Pro. Ooh, nodes. I don't really understand them. I know Premiere Pro uses like layers, like that we know from Photoshop, but DaVinci uses nodes. What are nodes?
Nodes are the gateway to happiness. They might be, that gate might be a little scary and it might make you sad looking at it, but as soon as you step through that gate, it's just a whole world of good feelings. So nodes, in essence, I think scare a lot of people because instead of representing a slot or a button, it's just a thing that exists in a workspace. So when you look at nodes, the only thing you're looking at is an image, a video, or a thing that changes something. So, if I want to change the color, add a node. If I want to move something, add a node. At like a very elementary level, I think it's easier for people to pick up layers just because that concept is a bit more intuitive, right? If I want something on top, just add a layer, just stack it. But as soon as you start to do things that aren't as simple as put this on top of this, nodes become just so incredibly powerful. If somebody in here is watching the stream or the video and is more familiar with After Effects, you know that when it becomes time to link things together or add masks or add expressions, a lot of times those workspaces and areas get really busy really quick, and you kind of have to keep track of, okay, nodes is a visual representation of all that. So I can take 2 steps back, look at my workspace, and I can see exactly, okay, this is over here. This is interacting.
Things get buried quite quickly when you've got anything reasonably complex in both Premiere Pro and After Effects, right? You have to kind of know where to look and dig in and find it all. It's not visual. So that sounds better. How does it play around with so I'm a designer, I'm really fluent in like say Photoshop and Illustrator, vectors and stuff like that. How well does it play with that type of work? Can I still use it for that? Or do I need kind of to build it all in there, or do I need other tools?
Yeah, DaVinci Resolve has actually made a lot of leaps and bounds, specifically in the last year. So if somebody is watching and kind of wrote DaVinci off early on, now's a really good time to reconsider it because version 20 introduced native PSD support. So if you work in Photoshop, you can just drag and drop in the PSD file and it'll split the layers for you to work with. If you're somebody works with vectors, you can import that into Fusion. I'll say that compared to something like an After Effects, I think After Effects has had more time to make that process, a little bit more seamless. But can you do that in Fusion? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's say I want to switch. I'm a Premiere Pro guy. I'm not a super advanced editor. I'm pretty good. Okay. I'm very technically competent. Storytelling, I'm average at, but I'm really good at Premiere Pro. What do you reckon, if you've got some skills in Premiere Pro, is it an easy kind of jump over to DaVinci, or am I kind of starting again? That's what I'm kind of scared of.
No. So I think just like swapping any software, you might just need to relearn where buttons live. Okay, where's my trim tool, or where does the media live? But if you're confident editing in Premiere, I think what you'll find is that DaVinci Resolve, in my opinion, in Team DaVinci's opinion, gives you more control. There's more specificity in what you can do. So if there's something where you're running into a problem area and there's just, that one thing isn't quite working, I found that DaVinci Resolve gives you the ability to really hone in, troubleshoot that problem, and fix it. In terms of I just want to edit a video, yeah, those skills will easily transfer over. There's different names for certain things. You might need to remap some keybinds, but yeah, totally transfers over.
The other big thing is it's free. How is it free? What is the catch? Where do I sell my soul? How can this thing be free and can I be a competent editor with the free version, or do I have to then just like sign up for the paid version?
Yeah, I don't. I keep waiting for there to be a catch, but there's not. There's no watermarking. There's no limited use. You can edit any video that you want. You have, I don't understand. Anything that we cover in this course can all be done on the free version. If you wanted to today go out there and let's say you're an editor who wanted to work, like the real estate space or want to do a home video, you could download DaVinci Resolve today and do everything you wanted. Minus, a couple of things here and there that are included in their studio version or their paid version, but there's no catches. I don't know. So I think DaVinci Resolve hopes that the company behind them is called Blackmagic Design. I think Blackmagic Design hopes that by using the free version, you understand how great their tool is, and then eventually we'll, convert to the studio version, but it's free. You can use it today.
That does feel like the way Canva, Affinity are doing it, where they're just giving away so much free stuff that it will become the norm to learn at schools. There'll be a whole generation of people just coming through learning the free one because it's free and good. And then when they get to that professional, who they were only going to pay for it anyway, are going to gravitate, are going to upgrade to the kind of like studio version. It's crazy though, you can do free stuff. For people watching now, the live stream, just let you know, so Brandon's just launched his DaVinci course called DaVinci Essentials. It is live just right now on Bring Your Laptop. We're very excited here. If you want to join up, there's a link in the description of this video, so go sign up. Want to talk about AI. How much of an AI experience does it work in? Like, I know Photoshop, loads of AI now. Illustrator a little bit. How much of a role does it play in, say, DaVinci or video editing in general?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to break that question down into two parts. One, does DaVinci Resolve use AI and how do they use it? And two, what some of those tools might look like. So as of right now, time of recording, doing this live, DaVinci Resolve does have AI features. They have different labels for how they're run, but it's typically called their neural engine, I believe. I could have boofed that, but
I love all the names people came up with early. There's all sorts of like Sensei. Yeah. Adobe's got Sensei. They've got Neural.
Yeah.
And now we're just calling it AI.
Swapped to. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But so they have their neural engine. But the one thing that I do appreciate is that it all runs locally on your PC. So at no point, if you were to use, so they do have some AI tools, at no point do they send your information online to a cloud, to a server, to process it, use it for feedback loops. It's all done locally. So they do use AI, and that's primarily where the big difference comes in from studio to the free version. There's a lot of small other differences, and it kind of gets a little granular in terms of what's different where, in terms of, like the color page, the fusion page, etc. But where you'll find the big differences are like their smart tools. So their auto subtitling tool, they have an auto masking tool. They have things that like do auto depth maps if you're into fusion and like, compositing. Cool. And their like auto silence remover tool, which is one of my favorite features that they've added recently to get rid of dead space when you're talking. So that's where like the big differences are. Yeah. Does that help? Does that answer?
Yeah,
that
perfect. Okay. So about the course specifically, your course, how long do you reckon, like, how long does it take to go from like clueless, like never being a video editor, in the creative space, but never done anything in DaVinci or in editing, to go to confident enough to make something simple, do you think? Like either how far through the course, or like, I don't know, how long does it take? I can't remember how long it took for me, like, but like, how long does it take somebody in DaVinci to kind of be making something, at least in the course?
Excuse me, I just got some coughs. Give me 1 second.
That's all right. Brandon's dying.
I've been recovering from Boogerland and lots of
everybody this Christmas has been dying from it.
So I think you can read that question a lot of different ways in terms of like, how long would it take me to open up DaVinci Resolve and make a video? I mean, you could do that quickly, in like 5 to 10 minutes. I think the better question is, how long would it take for me to understand and feel motivated in terms of the decisions that I'm making, which I think is kind of what you were alluding at there.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for me to give a concrete answer to that, like, okay, I'm going to promise you, in less than an hour, you're going to be confident enough to go do this. But what I will say is that through the course, one of the things that I'm really proud of is that we focus on a lot of the whys in terms of our editing decisions. So if you are somebody who has opened an editing program before and just felt confused in terms of, like, what's good? Why should I do this? Where should I use that? Those are questions that we really tackle early on to lay a really good foundation so that towards the end of the course, we really, really ramp up what you can do and what kind of problems you can tackle inside of DaVinci Resolve.
Cool.
I know that was
Yeah.
kind of a non-answer to how
No,
long
that's
should it
it.
take.
And it's just good to know that like you can easily get a win after not very long in the course and feel like I think that's the most important part about learning something is you don't have to know it all real quickly, but you need to feel like you've won. There's some software where you need to be at it for a very long time to get anywhere. Whereas I feel like it's good to know that you can get to somewhere where you're like, I made something, I'm doing it,
Yeah.
quite early. And that's what happens when I get stuck in your course though. What sort of support? I know this one's a leading question, so I might even answer my own question. So at Bring Your Own Laptop, if people do get stuck, if you're like nodes, you get stuck in that little area, you've got Edgar who reviewed the course. He's amazing. Okay, he'll be there. He's your expert on Bring Your Own Laptop. We'll be answering all your comments. There's a community forum around DaVinci on Bring Your Laptop as well. And if you're one of the new Bring Your Laptop Plus members, which is an extra special subscription on Bring Your Laptop, you'll get priority support. Basically, you have Edgar and Stephen on tap to answer your questions. If you're timid about learning DaVinci, like I kind of am, I shouldn't be, and you're like, there's loads of help there. The other thing is portfolio work. Do you do stuff people can use as, a portfolio piece in the course, or is it just kind of following along with, wrote stuff?
Yeah. I'm glad you answered the previous question because I was just going to say you can't get stuck. It's not allowed. I need
You're
you
too
to
good an
understand.
instructor.
If
I
you
am too
don't
good.
understand, I need you to figure it out. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, we definitely do portfolio pieces. There's one. Depending on where you'd like to go in your creative journey, I don't think that there's one piece in particular that's going to really stand out. But I think what we do cover is a lot of videos that you're going to be proud to show off, that I think for anybody looking on the outside who has some kind of editing experience or know-how will recognize what you're capable of and can see that you know what you're doing. So I'm really excited about some of the videos that we get to work on. The one in particular that's my favorite is there's like an action trailer edit that we do that I think is super fun. I think it incorporates a lot of really cool techniques. So yes, there will definitely be some pieces in here you can slap on a portfolio, and I think we'll get a lot of respect from the outside.
Awesome. And what are some of the features like in in DaVinci that, is there one that you're like, I will not go back to Premiere Pro because of this feature? I'm still trying to convince myself whether I should move across.
I'm just going to say Fusion. If anybody is
Fusion.
familiar with myself and has seen a video that I've done before or talked with me before and, a different editing community, one of my favorite things to say is that the faster you get into Fusion, the more comfortable you will feel as an editor later on. It's hard for me to tell you how cool it is until you actually get in there and experience it, because it is really, I think it's totally fair to be afraid of the Fusion page because it feels like it's almost like an engineering tool. Like you open it up and all of a sudden you got like all these menus coming up. You got a giant gridded workspace and it's like, so one of the things that I really like to focus on is really simplifying that so it's less intimidating, because what I end up doing, I would say 99 times out of 100 is if I need to change anything, I'll just hop into Fusion and change it. If I need to slide something left to right, I'll hop into Fusion and do it. If I need to add text, I'll hop into Fusion and do it. Fusion is it's designed and built to handle that specific side of editing, and it does it so well. So you can do a lot of those things on the edit page and get by. But if you want to feel confident and competent. I just can't encourage learning Fusion enough.
I can tell in your voice. You said you could, you without showing you, but you convinced me with your passion. Also want to welcome Brandon's other. Do they know you as Wampus? Your kind of like other side of your life, your other kind of internet fame.
Yeah.
Do they know you as Wampus?
Yeah, I guess so. We go by Wampus.
Welcome to Brandon's other crew, joining the Bring Your Laptop crew. Welcome in the chat. Why do they call you Wampus? Where did that name come from? Or is that a question to ask?
Man. So it's not an exciting answer. It's been a name that has just, I can't escape. And so now it's at a point that like Wampus is just associated with me. The really long, uninteresting story short is that I had a friend in high school and we went to go get Mexican food one day for lunch. He had a sweatshirt and the mascot was Wampus. That same day, I needed to go create a gamer tag, and I was like, Wampus.
There you go, gamer tag.
And that's it.
I like it. That's good.
It. Yeah. That's
when did you decide to like? When was your like, aha, I'm gonna go be a video editor moment?
I decided I really want to increase the amount of stress in my life and test my patience. No, so for anybody who is in the stream or is watching the video and is unfamiliar, my background is actually in like the gaming space. So I don't have as much experience in more professional settings or like a commercial setting or studio setting, which I think is why sometimes when I explain DaVinci, it might make a little bit more sense for certain people because I've been in your shoes where you're going through YouTube University, trying to piecemeal things together, trying to figure it out. So I've been through all of those videos, all the donut videos of the DaVinci Resolve world. So for me, there was COVID times happen. We all went through our existential crisis, being locked at home. I was originally working in the engineering world, but I've always had a massive love for gaming, the gaming communities, just that side of the internet. And I had a friend who was really good, like really, really good. And there was a point where you need to make videos. And I just said, I'll do it. And since that I'll do it, it's just snowballed.
And you didn't know how to do it before then? Just like, I'm going to do it.
Nope.
I think that's why we gravitated towards you as an instructor, because the industry, me and Brandon were talking kind of pre live stream, just people can get very technical about video editing, and learning from somebody like that is probably better than me and you could teach either Premiere Pro or DaVinci technically, but man, you check out pretty early. And that's why I think that's why we were like you, is that you did the same path as me. So let's figure it out. So you're trying to figure out, you're like, why didn't somebody just explain it this way? That's the vibe that I get from you. And you can tell that that's, it's self-taught, and that's why we love you, Brandon.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's right. I was telling you how much I love you, and then I was going to ask you about computer. Do you need NASA level computer, or what can you get by with? Like, how crappy can my old computer be before I want to throw it out the window?
Well, that is a good question. So, I would say you need at least, the big thing with DaVinci Resolve is it's RAM heavy. It's kind of notorious for being pretty RAM heavy. So you're not gonna be able to run it on your phone. And if you can run it on your phone, let me know, because I'm curious how you would do that. But it's very RAM heavy. So it's normally recommended at least 16 gigabits of RAM.
If you don't have 16 gigabits, that's a very, very old laptop. You probably have to wind it up.
Yeah, I think most people at this stage have at least 16. I would recommend, if you can, or if you're working on a PC or have access to one that has 32 gigs, your life's going to be easier. Do you have to? No. One of the things that we do tackle throughout the Essentials course is playback speeds and troubleshooting those problems. So, if you only have access to DaVinci Resolve actually has an iPad app. So if you wanted to edit on DaVinci Resolve on an iPad, you can do that. It might be tricky to work with, 4K footage or some really memory intensive things, but we do talk about how to workshop that and troubleshoot it in the course.
Cool. So you're not just, yeah, because that's the big problem when you get into some of these things. You just dump it in, then you're like, why is mine like 4K, ultra high definition, 16-bit, like, 60 frames per second not playing? Because you don't know, right? Like, you don't know. You just dump them in, you set everything to maximum record level, and you're like, man, this program's really crappy. So you do cover it in the course, how to kind of figure out how to play back stuff that maybe your computer's not born to do.
Yes. Yeah, we cover that. We talk through if you're working with any troublesome bits of footage, how to handle that, because that is one of the most infuriating things is you spend all this time to get like this really high quality footage and then you can't edit it. So yes, we do cover that.
Can you use it for like social media stuff, like vertical? Yes, that's the word I want. Like portrait. Those are the words I wanted. Yeah, it's not just for cinematic stuff. You can use it for short clip social stuff.
Yeah, that's my background actually, is a lot of like social media editing, YouTube editing. They've introduced a lot more tools throughout the years that make that process easier, because it was kind of tailored to a more professional setting and environment. But there's a lot of hobbyists, freelance editors that exclusively use DaVinci Resolve, and they exclusively use the free version. Like I have colleagues that still only use the free version for all of their editing, which is
cool. Yeah,
but
that's cool. That's always some of the frustrations with Premiere Pro, is that you've got to kind of force it to go vertical. It doesn't really want to. You can do it, and I show people how to do it in my Premiere Pro course. Do my Premiere Pro course. Link is in the description also. We're battling it out. But it's good to know that is becoming more native in DaVinci. AI tools. So we'll cover some final questions. If you've got questions, you're watching the live stream now, throw them in the chat. Taylor's grabbing them up. He's putting them on my screen now. I can see them here. So can you throw them up now, and I'll get to them in a sec. I got some final questions for Brandon before we go onto the user questions. But I want to talk about AI. So AI tools that you've integrated into your workflow. I'm just interested because I get asked all the time, what AI are you using? How you, not just DaVinci, but like into your workflow as an editor and general creative person?
Yeah, ChatGPT is definitely my buddy. We hang out. I don't have a lot of friends outside of ChatGPT, so we're pretty close. I was actually talking with Miss O'Briana the other day about naming ChatGPT, but I feel like that's, it's a dangerous brick to lay in the road. So, besides that, I might be a little old school in this current day age with AI tools, but I don't use a lot. I'll maybe pass over some like starting points for scripts if I'm writing something, to get that ball rolling or whatever. But what I tend to find, at least in the editing ecosystem, is that a lot of the current AI tools that are accessible are good for like basic stuff, like chop this up, and it might do it okay. It might not do it. And I think a lot of people associate AI with video in terms of video generation, right? Making video from scratch, not necessarily like editing tools. So I don't use a lot. I will say that the only other time I might use an AI tool is if I need some kind of like background generated. So, if I'm putting together a scene, I need some kind of background that's blurred out. I might create a still, the blue sky, green grass that I can put in the background. But outside of that, I don't normally use a lot of AI tools.
Make window XP background. Is that what you do?
Yeah, exactly. Basically that. Can you make it?
It's good to know, because like that, I get asked that all the time. And for more graphic design side of my life, I use it a lot. But for video editing, I'm like, am I missing something? Is there some like magic? Because like generating video, it's great, but like it's hard to tell, like I'm not sure where that it fits into my timeline. Like I've got it. It looks cool. I don't know what I'm doing with it. And it's good to know that, because I think there is a lot of like hype around. I think there's a lot of people scared they're missing out on stuff, but it's good to know from you and from, for my sake, that actually there's no like some secret, I can't believe you're not doing it that way. Just ChatGPT like the rest of us. I'm over to Gemini now.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I could just add on to that real quick, I think one of the things that gets confused with editing and the AI currently is that most of the AI tools that I'm aware of, and again, I'm probably not as tapped in as a lot of people, are for the pre-production side of it. If you want to get really technical, editing is a post-production craft. It's taking what you've been given and turning it into the best message or story that you've been told. So even if you do use AI video generation, you'll probably still need some kind of editing tool to piece it together and make it work well, if that makes sense.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Is there a good place for like, is there stock stuff you can get for like DaVinci to kind of speed flow, especially when you're getting started and you don't have a bunch of assets? Is there, stock things? Is there a library of places you can go? And yeah, that's my question.
Yeah. I think if the where do I find footage to work with question is always a good one. The footage provided for this course is through Edit Stock, which is a really good resource. It is a paid resource, but the thing that's cool about Edit Stock that we use in this course is that all of the footage is pulled from real documentaries or real projects. It's like produced by a team of experts that we get to work with. So that's really cool. Again, it is paid, so it take that as you will. But if you're looking for just practice footage, I'll give you two answers. One, there are free stock media websites that you can go to. We use Pixabay throughout the course to just get some free assets here and there. So, you can do your Googling, find that. What I would recommend is everybody who's watching this, if you're watching this YouTube stream, you have to have a screen or device somehow. And I'm going to assume it's a phone. Go film your own footage. I think the better that you can get at understanding the entire process of making a video, the stronger editor that you will become. So I always recommend, if you're trying to learn how to edit, make your own videos. It's like the quickest way. You don't have to worry about disappointing somebody with your video or anything like that. You're just disappointing yourself, which we're all familiar with. So if that would be what I would recommend. Use your phone, go record something.
Because that's the hard bit, right? When you're finding stuff on Pixabay or any of the free stuff, it's already edited, right? It's been color graded, it's already cropped nicely, and then what are you doing? You're just kind of like, like butting, you're just making transitions. Whereas Edit Stock and your own stuff, it is raw stuff with all the bits and the takes and the bad noises and those are the great, and that's super hard to find, right? Like I remember when I was learning at university, there was nothing. There was like one website that had some stuff on it, and it was, I think everybody used it. It was hard to find. Can we jump into like some more, let's say as a bit of a transition, but like one of the questions I get asked a lot is talking about rates for video editors.
Okay.
Like how much do I charge when I'm new? What are the rates like? Is there a kind of I don't know, what do you tell people when they're like, what do I charge?
Oh, you're asking the easy questions today. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Tell me more about AI and the future of the human species and how much we should charge. Yeah.
Yeah, we
wrap
will
those
all
up
be
real
plugged
quick.
into the mainframe here shortly. So the rates question is a hard one because it varies a lot per individual, per niche, per platform, per type of video. So what I'll say to kind of summarize this is, as an editor, what you're doing is a technical skill. It's a craft. It's something that not a lot of people can do. In fact, if you download DaVinci Resolve and render a video, you're kind of in the top 1% of editors already. When you first learn how to edit, you may have one tool in your tool belt. Maybe you have a hammer. Maybe it's a screwdriver. Maybe it's a tape measure. I don't know. You've got one tool that you've put in your tool belt. You know how to cut something. You know how to remove silence. So that makes you valuable. The more you learn how to edit, you begin to acquire more tools. You begin to build out your workshop in terms of your capabilities. I can do this. I'm specialized in this way. I work with sheet metal. I'm a welder, whatever kind of analogy you want to make. You can make a cooking analogy as well. That makes you valuable. Depending on how valuable you are for that person in that specific niche, you should charge appropriately. And this breaks down into, like customer acquisition, if it's like commercial work, or if you're doing trailer work for a movie, or you're a freelancer. So for me, whenever I'm coming up with rates, and I know I'm kind of getting a little bit more long-winded at this point, so just give me 60 more seconds. Okay. When I'm coming up with rates, I need to look at the person and I say, okay, what can they afford and how much value do I bring to them and their channel? If there's somebody who is measuring success through subscriber growth, or maybe it's through view count, or maybe it's through sponsored integrations, that's where my value lies. So typically, what I recommend, if somebody is in this and they're a freelance editor and they're looking for advice on how much to charge, what I would recommend starting with until you understand your value a little bit more, because that is something that comes with experience, start with an hourly rate. Don't tell anybody. Don't advertise. I work for $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $50 an hour. Don't tell anybody. Do a couple of videos and figure out how much or how long does this take for me to do. And then once you figure that out, go, okay, this is going to take me 2 hours to do. I charge $25 an hour. I'll charge this person $50. As you continue to progress, then you'll begin to understand the business of editing more, and you'll start charging more because there's other costs outside of just editing time in the video. There's software costs, there's computer hardware costs, like all these other things. So just start there. Start with an hourly rate. Don't tell anybody. Figure out how long it's going
So
to
you don't
take.
give the client the hourly rate. You just kind of calculate it in your own head and give them a price. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think the reason I say that is because there's a really easy trap that you can fall into when you're talking with somebody about rates. And I think it can turn into who wins the most conversation. So if I say, I charge $25 an hour, this video is going to take me 3 hours, I'm going to charge you $75. Well, they'll say, well, what if we just do 2 hours? Well, what if you don't put text in the video? Well, can you just not use transitions? And then it becomes this min-max, like, okay, how much can I extract this editor's worth for this edit? So instead, come up with your rate and stick to it. Be okay with saying no. Be so okay with saying no to somebody who says, I can only pay 40. You say, no worries, completely understand. Maybe we can work together in the future. And then, so
Do you
it's a
also
hard
do
question.
Yeah, it is. But thanks for giving us some, like, people dodge around it all the time, and it's good to get somebody's honest opinion on it because everyone seems to do their own thing, especially when you're starting off. Do you also do the thing where it's a job that's not what you really want to do and kind of out of your and you just charge it up so that if you do end up with the job, that's what I do. If so somebody says, like, you want to do this job? I'm like, nope. But I say, instead of saying nope, I say, I've tripled my prices. And if they still say yep, then actually I'm okay doing it now. I feel all right. Makes me feel better.
Yeah. If it's somebody that you know is going to be difficult, yes, I would totally recommend giving a frictioned upscale on the price so that you know it's going to be worth it. And I do the opposite as well. If there's somebody that I really want to work with, that I want to see succeed, that I believe in, then I'll totally, figure out like what makes sense for both of us so that they're still getting the most out of it while, I'm still getting paid to, help them
I also
out.
find it's good to tell them what your price normally is and that they're
Yes.
getting a discount so that then they don't think they're getting maximum value, out of that money, that, you're actually giving them a rate because you believe in them. And I think it makes them aware of what's happening rather than just doing it in your head. And yeah.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people find is that if you work with good clients, they will be willing to pay you. There's a very direct correlation. There's always outliers, but there's a very direct correlation to people who are looking to pay you the least amount to those who want to pay you for your work. So
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
What happens then when it's no longer, you're not getting paid because the robots are doing it? The question of like, are editors going to be around in 5 years? Do you get that question? And what's your answer? If you don't, tell us. Is AI coming for editing jobs?
Good editors will be around. So what I mean by that is what AI will do, and what a lot of software ends up doing, AI aside, is it removes a lot of the menial stuff. Like you can even take this and extrapolate this analogy to something like Excel, right? Before Excel, we were handwriting grids and trying to do, or like any tool like Photoshop where you used to have to go back and like hand put things together, whatever. So in the future, more than likely, at least, you know, for the next 5 years before we're completely overrun by AI. In the next 5 years, there will be a lot of AI video editing tools that do simple things. They'll remove silence, they'll make the video feel like it flows better. But until those AI models become really, really good editors are going to have jobs. There's no replacement for somebody who can put together a well edited visual story. There's just not. So I think to tie this all back to the Essentials course, I feel like courses like these are so important so that you can understand why. Why why is this a good thing? Because if you don't understand why this works, why this doesn't work, why this cut feels weird, why this feels abrupt, why does it feel flat? Then you will be replaceable by AI, because I mean, it might understand a few things, but it's not going to understand visual storytelling and human connection like you do. So if we can translate that into buttons that we press in DaVinci, that'll make you extremely valuable. So that's my
Because
answer.
that's what it feels like when I'm doing working with AI. Like it's great, it produced the thing, but I first of all had to tell it, so I had to kind of know where it needed to go, and then I'm the critical. I become more of a curator of it. You know, I'm like, it did what I wanted, but actually, it's not what we need or what the client wants or where I'm going with it. Because it's more of a, it's as much a process as it is a. I mean, like you said, the people that job's going to go away from AI are the ones that are easily definable, right? If you can write it down and give it to somebody you've never met and it get done, that can be done by AI. But it's also low, crappy work, right? So the kind of Fiverr style video editing jobs where it's very specific, AI can probably do that. But anything else requires, you know, like I feel like there's a vibe check. It's this like unmeasured, like you're like, wait, I'm very good with the vibe. Like, do you have a vibe certificate? No, but it's what makes this thing all work, you know, but it's very hard. That's the whole creative thing. I need a better word than vibe, but it does feel like the thing that makes creative and design and video editing immune to AI. If you
Yeah.
are, if you're getting into now and there's like I think people need to be equipped to, like, you don't need to, you can't ignore AI. What are the, you know, what are the valuable things you should be learning in AI if you are a video editor? Is there things you want to make sure that you, let's say, what are you doing? What are you making sure you don't get left behind, you know? So in 5 years, you're not, you know, kind of redundant. What are you just trying to keep up on or do or?
Yeah. So right now, most of the AI tools, this like smart AI tools, are currently at the iteration where they're working with stills, right? They're singular frames in terms of what they're able to generate, change around, alter in terms of lighting and color composition, orientation, that sort of thing. So those are tools. Those are great tools for you if you're looking to do something specific. So if you can be aware of those tools, great. That might be a great starting point for you to use. In terms of what I'm doing in particular is I'm just trying to be aware of what those things are. Because at the end of the day, those could be workflow improvement tools. You know, they could be things that I keep going back to, like the silence remover, but it's a really common thing that I think a lot of AI tools know how to do well. They look for no audio and they cut it out. So those are great, but if you don't know why they're good to use, then you're leaving food on the table. You
So you're
don't
not even
you
really
there
looking
is
about AI. You're really just looking at new tools. Like there's going to be a time where we'll stop adding AI to everything, right? We'll just be like, it's a new tool. It's computer made it happen, which
yeah.
every computer tool has already been made, but we like to add AI because it's sexy and new. But basically, it's a new tool. It's super advanced, but it is just a tool to go and figure out whether it's useful or not, right?
Yeah, there's the only the only way I could extrapolate an AI tool to completely replacing a video editor. I'm sure you have a similar ideology when it comes to like graphic design work, is maybe down the road there's a tool that you can train in a very specific editing style. But there's so many moving pieces when it comes to putting together a video that, again, I think what you would end up seeing are carbon copies of a style. And if you wanted to change it, you need to have the editing know-how in terms of, okay, I need to describe how to change this thing. And if you don't understand how to do that, if you're not a good editor, then yeah, you're going to generate slop every time.
A quick little recap for everybody. Brandon here has just launched his DaVinci Essentials course on Bring Your Laptop. It's just gone live today. We're really excited for it. There is a link in the description if you do want to join Brandon. I've got some questions from the students that are here or people that are in the live chat. So you ready? We'll go for another 10, maybe 15 minutes. All right. So Jaka, how advanced does DaVinci course get? And will it be an advanced course in the future?
Ooh, yeah. So if somebody's in the stream right now, I need you guys to harass Dan for an advanced fusion course. You can take harass however you would like, but be so persistent with an advanced fusion course. Jack, I know Jack. Jack is a good guy. The course takes you from an absolute beginner to I would say intermediate proficiency on all pages of DaVinci Resolve, minus the Fairlight page. So the Fairlight page is the audio page. And we do cover it. So it's not like, we're completely ignoring it and just hoping for the best. But I would say we don't dive as deep into the Fairlight page. But in terms of color, fusion, and editing, we cover it all. And I think we do a good job of building out workflows and techniques that you can then use to, again, not just copy and paste a recipe. Look at, how many tablespoons of this, how many cups of this. You can take that knowledge and then go out and do your own projects. So we do cover fusion, and I would say we do some fun things in fusion.
Another question, Blue Coach Productions. I was wondering what goes into the decision to deciding what to include in this course. DaVinci is such a massive program with a huge manual. How do you decide how did you decide what goes in Essentials and what to leave out for next time?
Okay. Hello, Blue. I know Blue as well. Blue is good people. Blue,
all your peeps here.
Yeah. Creative guy. So that's a great question. What went into the decision-making process of what do we include in DaVinci and what we don't? So, I guess the best way I could answer that is I tried to take some steps back and put myself in the shoes of somebody who hasn't been editing, doesn't know what a codec is, doesn't know what frame rate is or how to cut or anything like that, and then figure out what would be things that people would want to do in their videos. So I'm not talking about going and working on the next, Fast and Furious movie. I'm talking about your videos, things that you find are important that you want to create. So for me, that came down to, okay, I need to know what makes a good video. Like what does good mean in terms of editing? And how does that directly correspond to the craft of editing? And I'm not talking about, this is something that I mentioned throughout the course. I think a lot of times there's confusion in terms of what makes something good by how flashy it is. How many lens flares can we stack on this? How many edge rated text can we put in this video? What we try to do is start at the very fundamentals, remove the scary aspects, and then piece by piece put together videos like trailers, short form videos, talking head videos, the color correction stuff, to where you can, again, build out videos that you think are cool. So I don't know if that helps answer Blue's question.
It does. It feels like me as well. You've described me. Those are the things that I want to do without getting too deep into it, because then it kind of splits off, right? I feel like once you've got the core, then you got to kind of decide what to go do, what direction. You're going to be a fusion guy. You're going to go do, more kind of long form storytelling editing. And yeah. Jeff asks, can you use the free DaVinci Resolve, or do you need the studio paid version to take this course? I've never used it, but I always wanted to check it out.
Hello, Jeff. Yes, you can use the free version. And if you missed it, or if somebody's tuning in a little bit later to the stream of the video, one of the things that we mentioned early on is that you probably might not even ever have to use Studio. I think there are certain people who have certain workflows, or if you're editing full time, that Studio makes sense. but for the majority of people, you can get away with using the free version. So all the tools that we use in the course are free. You can use Fusion for free. The fact that you can actually use the color page for free still blows my mind, because the color page is incredible. It's just
Wow.
simply unparalleled in what it can do. So yeah, get away with using the free version. Yep.
Another question from Jeff. Have you used a Toolbox device to help with your video editing? I just ordered one and want to
Oh,
see what the hype is about. Have you ever used one? I don't even know what it
is
is.
that the so maybe somebody can
I,
chime in. Is that the hardware? The like the
that's what I'm assuming. It's one of those dials and panels and sliders that you use. I
yeah.
seen people, DaVinci people, they have the box, they have it in front of them, and I was like, oh, I want one of those.
Yeah, I think I know what he's talking about. I don't no, I don't personally use
You just
one,
use the software and
but
mouse.
yeah, I use keyboard and mouse. We do have a whole section going over keyboard shortcuts, which I think a little biased, but I think they're pretty great. I do know a lot of people who will use like we actually were just talking about yesterday. They'll use like an extra numpad for shortcuts, like an attachable numpad or a Steam Deck or something like that. But I think the reason why the Tor box, I think it is that one, is useful is because it has a jog wheel. So it's got like uh, a wheel that you can quickly scrub through footage with. I'll say that I
Oh, I'm
have
looking at it
messed
now.
around
Yeah.
with the. Is it that one?
It is that one with the jog wheel in the middle. It looks kind of like a PlayStation controller with a bunch of stuff all over it. I'm
Yeah,
liking it. I need
those
one.
those tools are great for if you work with lots of footage. And I don't mean an hour's worth of footage. If you work with days worth of footage, those are really good tools because you can really sort through stuff quickly. But so I don't personally use one, no.
You underestimate the how cool you look, especially if you're in a co-working space or a studio, though. If you've got
Yes.
that there, I feel like you should get one just
Uh-huh.
because you're like, man, that is
Just
a
to have
pretty
it.
bit of thing, and look how professional I am. You can
Yeah.
raise your
I'm gonna
rate,
start.
surely.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a question from Citron. Would I jump straight into DaVinci, or should I start with other platforms first, such as Premiere Pro?
Oh yeah, DaVinci. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll just. I know this is kind of like an Adobe safe space over here, so we'll just, if we're gonna ignore Dan, or there, we'll ignore Dan for just a second. Yes, just hop into DaVinci Resolve. Yes, you don't need
That way.
any other tools to get in there.
We're all about the tools that people use in the creative space. Don't mind what they are. I am Figma and Canva, and yeah, it's okay.
Hmm.
Hyena, what if I wanted to edit music videos? Do you have any good distortion or color fix kind of tutorials, or to make cool visuals?
Okay. Do I have a specific tutorial that exists online right now for that? No. Can you do those inside of Fusion? Yes. And the one of my favorite parts of being a creator in the DaVinci Resolve space is that and I'm sure Adobe is the same, but the creators that make specific tutorials like that, if you're looking for an effect, are incredible. They're all super nice people whenever I've had interactions with them. So there are tools like that. There's distortion tools, aberration tools. There's, like liquid glass effects that you can put in your videos if you're on the current Apple wave. So yes, those are all things you can do. I don't specifically have a tutorial on it.
Cool. Spartacus, is there cloud storage? Do you have a choice to embed files, or are they linked like Final Cut Pro X?
Okay. Yes, cloud storage is a thing. DaVinci Resolve has the Blackmagic. Oh, I might be butchering the name here, but I believe it's the Blackmagic Cloud. Blackmagic Design, again, is the company behind DaVinci Resolve. So they have a cloud service. If you're referring to editing with proxies, the way that it works is, let's say this, and this would be more useful if you're working with multiple editors, or you have a client who isn't local to you. There's some kind of symbiosis going on where you're on a team. If you were to edit on the cloud, they have different plans. It's not a free service. You upload your footage, and then you have the choice of, do I give them the original files or do I send them proxies? And you can edit with both. So yes, you can edit with proxies. You can also edit with the original media if you want to download the footage. Up to you.
Perfect. Brandon, that is going to be us. For anybody watching that is interested in DaVinci and wants to check out the outline, check out the intro, there is a couple of free videos that are on there as well, so you can sample the course. There'll be a link in the description for that. It's at Bring Your Own Laptop. I just wanted to thank you, Brandon, for all of the hard work. It is not easy making a course, I know, and I appreciate you making such an amazing one for us here at Bring Your Own Laptop.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Humbled, grateful, and yeah, thank you for having me.
We're a good team. Bring Your Laptop and Wampus. And all the other teams. Yeah. So Aubriana did a lot of work getting this together, and the rest of the Bring Your Laptop team. So and Edgar, who did all the reviewing, and Taylor for putting it all together. Thank you for everybody, and thank you again, Brandon. That is going to be the end of the live stream. I'm going to try and find the button over here and try for a smooth exit. I can never do it. You've got to click it twice, did you know, Brandon? Otherwise, you fumble around for a long time thinking the live stream has ended, but it hasn't. This is where we wave and fade to black. You ready? See you, Brandon.
Peace.
See you, everybody.